So,
So,
welcome to everybody. We've got a good cast of characters so far. Hoping for some more to show up. We definitely had some more RSVPs. We've got some folks have to bail out a little early, and Mike was just telling us that the Portland WordPress meetup coincided with ours tonight. So, some folks that are registered for both, RSVP'd for both, are going to be attending that one as well. So, while we are maybe hoping for another person or two, I thought I would, well, first of all, I'll call for problems. We always call for issues. And again, that doesn't necessarily mean it has to be a beginner issue. If you have issues at an advanced level, or even issues that are facing your company in terms of small business, marketing, what have you, by all means, feel free to unmute and let us know what that might be. Have anybody experiencing any challenges they want to bring to the group to maybe discuss?
yeah, hello. My name is Aaron. I'm just joining the group.
Alan, you're a little garbled. Um, I'm wondering if you could get
See
closer
if
to.
that's better.
Oh, that's a hell of a lot better. Whatever you did, keep doing it.
Hold on. Let me put the earbuds away.
Okay. Yeah, you're clear and crisp as a bell. 5 by 5.
There. Now you should hear me.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
very well. What you were starting to say?
Yes. So I'm first time calling into this. My son and I bought a business at the start of this year. It's all web sales. It's a nursery, and everything is done with a WordPress site and a WooCommerce for the commerce part. Um, I had to get up to speed learning the site, but luckily it was already in place, so sales were coming in. My question is, first I need to give a little bit more background. All the transactions, credit card transactions, I do manually because we don't always know if we will have all the inventory. I'm looking at a plugin that can do manual credit card transactions. I'm using authorize.net from the order page. And before I just jump into it, I'm looking, trying to look for help, feedback on such a plugin, and I don't want surprises by customers who may then try to place an order and this
What,
plugin is causing a problem.
what store plugin is running on your WordPress? Are you using WooCommerce or
Yes, WooCommerce.
Shopify? WooCommerce, okay.
Yep.
Well, and so what? Your payment processing part of WooCommerce is not set up correctly?
No, because of the type of product we sell, it's safer to let WooCommerce gather the card information, and then I just manually process when we ship. Um, but I wanted to enable this plugin that allows me to do manual credit card transaction, not a manual, to start a credit card transaction by me manually hitting a button instead of when the customer places the order. I have never done any transactions through the website, and that's where the fear is. And the author of that plugin is BTL, and I don't find much information about them. And so I'm just looking for feedback from people who do enable the transactional parts.
You know, I'm inclined to throw this to Mike. Mike Noter, he's very well versed in the WooCommerce. I mean, I've done WooCommerce but I always use the capabilities of WooCommerce to do transactions automatically all the way through, including the shipping and handling and all that. Mike, any thoughts on
Well,
manually triggering?
I do, but I don't have a specific answer for him. I'm not a Woo expert, but I do a weekly meetup called Woo Wednesdays, where a bunch of Woo experts show up. You are right. You don't want to be taking credit card information directly onto your site. But WooCommerce and most of the payment gateways will allow you to set it for manual approval of the transactions. Now, in your situation, I'm not really sure what gateway you're using. Are you using PayPal or Stripe or Square?
Authorized.net, I think you said.
Yeah, I'm using authorized.net, but I'm not. So
Yeah.
the card information is on the order page. I then manually copy and paste it into a virtual terminal of authorized.net to let it finish the transaction. I'm trying to remove me from the operation.
Right.
And
You're actually cutting and pasting credit card information.
yes,
Okay, I don't know authorized.net, so I can't speak to that. But Brandon, did you have a sense of what's going on there? Or
Well,
I
let me jump in because we're kind of going out of order. We usually have the issues brought forth, and then we have people introduce themselves, and then get to the problem. So I've got you on deck, Alan, to further deal with your issue and see if we can
okay,
either
thank you.
solve it or point you towards resources, including I'm sure Mike will put his links in. He always does. One of which is for Woo Wednesdays, which is a good group. There's some really good guys that attend that group. I'm trying, if I can remember, to attend that one. I meant to do it this last Wednesday, and I suddenly realized it was 1:15 and I missed it. But so let's go ahead with our introductions, and let's start with our guys that are gonna have to leave a little early. So I'm gonna go straight to Daryl Oberg up in Vancouver area. And why don't you introduce yourself? Our intros are, who you are, where you are, what it is you do, why you're here, any ideas you might have for the group moving forward, and your biggest WordPress or business challenge. So, Daryl, you want to get us started on that?
Yeah, hi, I'm Daryl. I'm based near Vancouver, BC in Canada. I run an internet marketing agency called AYD Internet Marketing. So how we are different is we look at ourselves as a marketing partner with your business, and our goal is growth, consultation. Our specialty, our main area of service is around paid advertising. That's our where we go deep on the knowledge and the skill set, and we're able to help with the high level consultation as far as an overall digital strategy. So my team has a lot of experience across the board. And the reason I'm at this meetup is to learn more about WordPress, help others to see if I can give some feedback into their business, because you do have to get traffic to a website, so it's very symbiotic. And yeah, if anyone has questions specifically about paid advertising, feel free to reach out.
And Daryl's got a couple of replays. If you go to the Brass Ring Web Design YouTube channel, we've got his past presentations, really informative stuff. I don't know if I'm putting him on this. Well, and before I leave you, Daryl, always reminding everybody, feel free to put your contact information in the chat. And I remind everybody to save the chat. That way you have people's contact information and you can connect outside of this meetup. I know that Davin was a little tied up, so I don't know if I'm putting him on the spot inordinately. But Davin, you want to jump in and give you guys might notice there's a similarity in their last names. There is a good reason for that. So Davin, you want to jump in and introduce yourself, who, where, what, and all that?
So I'm Davin. I'm Dale's brother. I
That
am lo-
explains it.
yeah, yes. I am located near Calgary, Alberta. I run my business at Go Digital, and my focus is more paid advertising and more the digital consulting side of strategy of a business because I have over a decade of experience running a trade business I grew from the ground up. So I understand a lot of parameters of what the clients are expecting. So when I go to a system, I understand their pain points.
Great. Thank you very much. And next, how about Alan? I'm just kind of going in the order on my screen here. Alan, you want to? You've already told us a little bit, but you want to give us the who, where, what?
Yeah, so I'm in San Diego, California.
Oh,
And
okay.
as I said, I became a WordPress user because we bought the company and the website came with it. And I'm just trying to be proficient and not have to hunt for outside services to run my site.
Great. Good to have you with us. Brendan, are you available for an intro?
Yeah, hello, Brendan O'Connell here. I am also based in San Diego, down in Point Loma near the airport, and I work full time at an agency building WordPress websites for mostly small businesses and nonprofits here in California. And I also make content myself on YouTube, doing random tutorials on stuff, and have a small agency and been freelancing a bunch this year as well. So just keeping myself very busy with all things WordPress. I love teaching WordPress. I love onboarding people, helping people with WordPress, and these meetup groups are a great way to do that. So that's my thing.
Very cool. Always good to have you here. And I'll remind everybody that Brendan gave a very informative presentation last month on his first experience visiting the WordCamp, the main WordCamp, which takes place in Portland, and he went in September and brought us back an informative report. Also, some of the information on some of the you may or may not have caught wind of some of the controversies regarding WordPress and WP Engine and such. I've got a little bit of news we'll get to in a minute, and we can see if anybody has any updates beyond that. But check out his replay. I'll put a link in the well, I'll put a link in the chat, and there'll be a link in the description, of course. So thank you, Brendan, and the inestimable and illustrious Mike Noter up in time in places unknown and north of here.
Yeah, I'm Mike from Spokane. I run a bunch of meetups, 5 or 6 a month. I do a weekly Woo Wednesday meetup and then a monthly WordPress meetup. I'm not really an expert in any of those areas. I really facilitate the meetups. But I've hired so many WordPress developers and got trashed, I decided to get into it myself. And now, because of these meetups, I can get you to some of the best in the country. And so a lot of what comes when they come to my meetups, so I do have about a dozen websites and I do help people with the smaller stuff. But when people come to these meetups and they need something, I can get you to the people that can probably solve your problems. So I'm not an expert. I do a lot with business. I do a lot with startups and turnarounds and distress situations. I was just sort of forced into the WordPress world, and I guess I'm better off for it. So that's me.
Thank you, Michael. Always good to see you. We've got Reese in the house. I don't have a microphone showing for Reese. Do you
Can you
have?
hear me?
I can hear you, but for some reason I'm not seeing an icon for a mic. But yeah, I can see you.
Yeah, it doesn't look like my video's working either.
No.
Either way, this is
I
Yeah, we can see
we
you.
we see your
okay.
video. I'm just not seeing, everybody else has a little microphone icon, but the important thing is we can hear you. So go ahead, tell us who you are,
Excellent.
where you're from, all that good stuff.
This isn't my first time to this meet. I'm out of Vancouver too, so it seems like we're a lot of Canadians here today.
Yeah, Canadians and San Diegans.
Exactly. I run my own company out of Vancouver. I basically specialize in e-commerce, so WooCommerce, everything like that. Like Alan, I have some suggestions for you because I've actually worked with authorized.net. But outside of that, I'm trying to get a lot more involved in the WordPress community. So I'm going to as many WordPress meetups as possible, be it West Coast or East Coast. And I am enjoying the community that we have here. Everyone's helpful to everyone else.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we're glad you chose to hang out with us tonight. Put it on your
Thank you.
calendar. We're here every second Monday of the month at 6 p.m. Sometimes we have a presentation. We're trying to have a presentation, and we welcome people. If you've seen a presentation recently or come across a product that you think might be of interest to the WordPress users that attend our meetings, or if it might be something that is adjacent to small business in terms of marketing products that might be useful for us at different levels of business. We want to hear about those, so bring them to us. Okay, I think that brings us to Linda. Linda, would you like to make an introduction? You still with us, Linda? She might
She
be
said she was in
reaching.
transit, so I mean, she might be.
She
Can't
might be
talk right now.
reaching for.
Yeah, yeah,
There you are.
I am. I'll just make it short because I am driving, but I'm really happy to be here because I love the WordPress community. And like someone else said, like the people are just so helpful and so kind. And there's just, just so much goodness. So for me, um, I'm mostly a designer, but I also do front end CSS. Where I have a little trouble is with like Stripe and like e-commerce kind of things. I don't have any sites that I'm working on with WooCommerce, but I have one that has Stripe and really troubleshoot it. But yeah, but I work full time for a company, a real estate company, and then I take care of some small business websites on the side, just helping out friends and family. So that's me.
Oh, great. Well, I'm glad you're
Thank
here
you.
and drive safely.
All right, thank you.
This brings us to Lisa. Lisa, would you care to introduce yourself? You with us, Lisa?
Lisa said no microphone in chat.
Oh, I think you're right. Wait. She did?
Yep, the last person who
She
left
put
a
her
message.
site in chat.
Denver by foot.
There you go. No microphone tonight. Okay. Well, has she put any, here we go. We do have some contact information. No, that's a website that she's working on. If you want to put contact information in there, if you're able to, Lisa, by all means, feel free. And answer I should have pasted these in before, the who, where, what, why, and biggest challenge. There we go. Thank you for that. All right. Well, that brings us to Mr. Kinsey, who has just joined us. I'm wondering if he's coming from Portland. I hear there was a presentation there on Inspector. Steve,
Yes, sir.
good to see you, sir. We're doing introductions, who you
Yep.
are, where you are, what you do, why you're here, ideas for our group, biggest WordPress or business challenge. Um,
I'm
go.
can you hear me?
I can hear you great.
All right, great. I'm here from Portland. I left Portland meeting. And which is fine. They were having a recording and they were going to put it on YouTube, so I figured I'd just roll over to this one. Anyway, and this is closer to where I'm at. I'm in San Bernardino, and I build WordPress websites. Try my best to help my clients advertise in the modern day phone book, I guess. And as far as tonight, I'm just here to help out and support Southern California meetups and do my best, like I said. As far as problems, I could always use more business. So advertising is always a pain in the butt. But other than that, that's it.
Very cool. Let me see. Have I gotten to everybody? I think everybody but myself. I'm Edward Sanchez. Brass Ring Web Design is my company. I'm based in San Diego, California. Been building websites for since '98. Been specializing in WordPress since 2009, 2010. And my business my ideal client is somebody who has come to WordPress because it's the leading CMS and yet does not have the wherewithal to make to build a strong marketing website. The difference between a pretty website and one that's effective is what I do. I bring decades of small business experience, training, and experience in sales, marketing, and small business. I operate from a hub and spokes model, which is, yes, you have to have, and it's getting stronger. Websites are not going away. WordPress continues to gain market share, and there's a lot of websites out there that are not getting traffic for the simple reason that they constitute or represent a hub for marketing, but you have to have spokes. Just relying on organic search and organically being found is not as strong as having email marketing, social channels, even print advertising, judicious use of print pieces, and your business card. I'm a big fan of business cards, and I do all of those things. So I've got my contact information up there. I'm going to go ahead and put our guidelines. Oh, by the way, my elevator speech way to find me is my WordPress guy. So at my WordPress guy, hashtag my WordPress guy, they all point you to me. We've got a description here of our group. You guys are familiar with this. If somebody maybe, how about Alan? Alan, you want to read our guidelines for us?
Okay, it says, all comments and discussions should be respectful of others. Please add a profile picture to your Zoom account so you can still see your face when you turn off the camera. Please raise your virtual hand if you don't like to speak. Mute your microphone when you aren't speaking.
If you
During
would like
speaker
to speak.
presentation, type your question in the chat.
I'll just minor correction. Raise your virtual hand if you'd like to speak. But tonight we have a fairly intimate crowd, so we don't get too persnickety about that, But anyway, thanks for reading our guidelines.
Did I pass?
You passed with flying colors. Your gold star is in the mail, and there will be a pink Cadillac in your driveway tomorrow morning. Thanks, man. So we've got a little bit of WordPress news. Along the way, if you have something to contribute to this, feel free. I would start with, let me stop sharing my screen here. And I got this from WP Tavern, where I guess the main news has to do with there's some controversy having to do with a loss of love between WordPress's creator, Matt Mullenweg, and WP Engine, which has been a partner resource providing hosting for many WordPress websites. They've had a falling out, a divergence of mind, and that's it promises any number of possible repercussions. There is a lawsuit. Well, first of all, Automattic, the parent company for WordPress, filed lawsuits. Withdrew certain resources, removed WP Engine from some key positions in the, and if anybody wants to correct me on this in the way I'm articulating it, but they removed WP Engine from some pretty important positions in the WordPress realm. And of course, WP Engine has filed lawsuits. Matt has responded. He's basically trying to get the courts to dismiss. That's basically where it's at. I'll put the links in the description. I'll put the link for that article in the chat right now. I'll make sure all of these links are available in the description for this meeting later on. There was, and this is definitely related, there was a change to the code of conduct, WordPress's code of conduct, which includes now a limitation on publishing. I guess there was some pulling of covers in this controversy. Some things got published which Matt didn't want to be published, having to do with private communiques, that sort of thing. And so you'll notice that the code of conduct now includes not publishing any communications without express permission of the commissioner of the Major League Baseball or whatever. Anyway, I know, and we've talked about it here, we're all trying to be mindful and respectful of fomenting or becoming embroiled in controversy, because as we have seen, this is not quite the hippie style platform for freedom of expression we might have thought. There is definitely some controlling elements, and that's as far as I will go. But the article, I've just placed the chat in there. Related to this controversy, I will say that one thing that's come out is a lot of, since this hosting relationship between WordPress and WP Engine has soured. There are a number of hosting companies which, of course, are kind of rushing in to offer to fill that vacuum for users who might feel better departing the WP Engine. So I see that Bluehost is offering, a number of them are offering some options, some specials and promotions for WP Engine customers looking to migrate. And for instance, hey, Edward from Brass Ring Web Design, popping in for a sec to tell you how we can help your DIY website project by making your website effective, not just pretty. At Brass Ring, we take a big picture approach to digital marketing, building a strong foundation that drives long-term growth. We use our hub and spoke traffic model. Yes, of course, we design high-performing WordPress websites that serve as your central marketing hub. We also coordinate traffic to it from key platforms like email marketing, SEO, social media, and ads. We align every aspect of your digital presence for lasting success. More than just ad managers, we're your partner, optimizing the entire customer journey to better use your time and marketing investment and deliver lasting value. Training and coaching you along the way means you continue to save DIY money and retain control. And now, back to our meeting. Since Bluehost will cover your migration costs and credit back your existing contract. They offer 24/7 phone support. You can call them. Their number is 844-699-3907. And their WP.cloud powered cloud hosting starts at $29.99 a month. I will put that in the chat. DreamHost is offering free migrations with plans starting at $16.95 a month. Hostinger offers free migration for an unlimited number of websites with a 24/7 dedicated customer success team. Their relevant cloud plans start at only $7.99 a month. Nexus has plans starting at $21 a month. Pressable will credit back your current WP Engine contract and match their pricing. So if you're in the middle of a long contract with WP Engine, you don't need to wait until your renewal time. And SiteGround has a special with 83. I copied and pasted this, so that's 83% off and unlimited automated WP migrations. Their plans start at that's $2.99 a month. That's SiteGround. WordPress.com will give you a free year of any plan they offer and donate 5% of your purchase price to the WordPress Foundation. Their relevant plans start at $25 a month. And for large-scale enterprise customers, WordPress VIP will cover the cost of migration. Their plans generally start at $2K per month. For those of you who might have larger customers who are feeling precarious with their hosting as this controversy unfolds. So I'm going to put all of that in the chat, and again, remind you to save the chat.
And I'd like to point out something real quick about SiteGround. They have very, very generous introductory plans. That $2 might be even a little bit more generous than normal, but after, depending on how you sign up, 1, 2, 3 years, it jumps up significantly. So if you're only running one site, you're going to be looking at $300 plus, probably $320 a year after their introductory offer expires. Now I have like 8, 10 sites at SiteGround, and they've been okay for me. They're definitely not the best, but they're okay, depending on what you're doing. But don't be deceived. You'll get in there, you'll get all set up, and you think you're $2 a month, and then you're going to get a big bill on down the road.
Thanks for that. Yeah, definitely. Nobody wants sticker shock when they're least expecting it.
And just if I could add, it's not just SiteGround either. Like there's other ones that do that. So just keep that in mind if you're in the market for hosting, to see if it's just an introductory rate versus, predictable rate.
Yeah, I think this is a very common model in the tech world, starting with your cable company. Buyer beware is always important, because you do not want to be surprised by a jump in costs. I've experienced it. Probably there's not anybody here who hasn't. So be aware of what's offered and how long it's offered for. So, and of course, we're hoping that this controversy is resolved and everything goes back to the way it was. I'm always hoping that things will go back to the way things were. I'm often disappointed, but anyway, there you have it. So we're done with our intros, and oh, we lost Alan, and he's back evidently. So let's, well, I was just about to say, let's see if we can maybe, oh, I guess Alan's just logged in on a second device for some reason, which is fine. Oh, okay. That way you get a camera. Cool. I was just about to say, oh, Daryl, you have a question?
Yeah, I'm gonna signing off here in a minute. I wanted to make sure there weren't any questions or anyone needed anything. I was
Did
letting you finish
anybody?
the news first. That's why I waited.
Yeah. Sorry. Well, and thank you for that. Did anybody, and we'll hold off a second on getting back to your payment processing issue. Alan, did anybody have any questions related to lead ads or digital marketing campaigns, management of digital marketing campaigns, that sort of thing, before we lose Daryl and Davin? We're losing you too, right, Davin?
Actually, I do have a question.
For me or for the
It's for
group?
us specifically, it's combined because the issue, we're putting a package together for a website right now, and we have something put together, but just want some ideas. How do we create a three-tier package system that's going to be effective to show to potential clients?
Do you mean pricing? What do you mean by three-tier?
Pricing and expectations.
So you got your economy, you got your value, and then you got your premium.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a very standard approach to proposals. People will always usually pick the middle one. But you're talking about your terms and conditions and your overall scope of service that you're offering at each of those levels.
That's exactly, because we have something put together. We are putting example websites together to show to potential clients, but like, how do you word each tier so it's effectively and clear, but at the same point, it encompasses everything without, it's, you get what I'm trying to say here?
Yeah, I kind of do, but it's a
Sure.
little hard to just to create your copy for you without even knowing what business and where you're targeting. But you're
Right.
basically going to have a limited uh, offering, and it's going to be like say $1,000 a month, and then so much for maintenance, and then you're going to have a second one. It'll be maybe 5,000, and I'm just throwing those numbers out there. Um, but you have to differentiate between each service yourself, the offerings that you're going to have, and then you write it up that way. All right.
Right.
So to
I,
ask go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, my thought is, and you're right. The psychology in sales, wherever you have, chocolate, strawberry, and vanilla, is always the assumption that they're going to choose strawberry 60-70% of the time. What I would say, since what you guys do is a little different. I mean, you guys do include web design, but it's not the fundamental basis of your company. Your strength is more the marketing management, the lead ads, that sort of thing. I would be inclined to say to anyone, whatever the crux of your business is, because you're going to be doing this package more than anything else. So it should be something that really underscores your strength and showcases your best foot forward. So I would say whatever that is. And I know I do the hub and spokes because fundamentally I came to this as a website developer, and I continue to be so with ancillary offerings, including, our partnership with you guys. But I would say put together a package that is what you would do all day long, if left to your druthers, and then put together a lesser, maybe less admin. I don't know what that might be, and then come up with a premium one, but have that center one be what you guys are best at. You guys,
We have that.
yeah.
We've done all that. Actually, so what we could do is we've kind of shown Edward a little bit of what we've done. Mike, if you want, we could maybe email
You
you
want to
as
share a
well for
screen?
feedback.
Yeah, sure. I'll take a look. But I've dealt with this on a number of occasions, and I have to emphasize, you want to clearly describe what the lift is from the value add. So a lot of times they'll have three services and they can't, is it more bandwidth? Is it more security? Is it more what's in there? And you really want to have that first level, the difference, to differentiate between that first level and that second level. Excuse me just a minute here. Of what that value add is. Make that clear in your copy. And you're going to find some people are going to take your premium package. You might say, well, we give you 99% uptime. We give you security reviews. We make sure, but a lot of times when people come to me with these stuff, you can't really understand the difference between the two of them. You don't really see any value added. Anyway, but I will look at whatever you have. Not that I'm the best guy. Steve and Brandon, they're probably better at it, but I'll look at it.
Yeah,
And
we can share them, Gavin.
having just done this,
You
I
want
would
me to share it, Daryl?
Yeah, just find the
you
slide
guys
you
should
want.
be able
He
to
needs
share it.
permission.
I will say, and you guys know that I just did this. In the past, I've had it on, I've taken it off. There's differing, philosophies on whether to offer this stuff on on our websites. Do we publish our pricing? Do we not? Do we have the pricing available to deploy when we have a discovery session with someone that calls for it, that we can reach for it? But what I found, and mine is up on the website under a page called Packages and Pricing, is the trick is not articulating everything all at once, because a lot of these things, should be expounded on a terms and conditions page. So the trick is having a strong, like on my page, I have four, because there's also a fourth quadrant that adds e-commerce to any of the previous ones. But you have to really articulate the highlights, the sales highlights in terms of benefits. Remember, people want benefits. They want you to solve problems. They don't need all the details, but give the opportunity to expound and read what those inclusions are. So,
well, we have lots of different
Can you-
packages. We
can
have
you
a
see it
general
clearly?
overall, and then we've got a whole bunch of them. Yeah, it's showing. We have lots. Basically, we have overall packages dialed in, more general digital marketing strategy and paid advertising. Then we have supporting ones for SEO, websites. Even if we don't do the work, it's just because we need to be able to give them a foundation to run ads.
Yeah, that's a good way to.
Because we don't even build
Yeah.
websites. We just need to be able to show them something if they ask.
Well, one thing that comes up a lot in these, you'll see, on their basic offering, there'll be a price, 750 or 1,000, whatever. Then there'll be a medium offering and wherever, but usually their premium offering is bid. It says we provide this customization, and then you can add into those other things, and they, contact us for, they don't give the price at the high end, right? They reserve to engage them and talk to them and build a relationship before they price it. Because, that could be a $10,000 or a $20,000 bill. The basic stuff, nobody really wants to spend a whole lot of time. I mean, how much time do you want to spend with a client if you're only going to get $500 or $750? That's why they price it. If it's not worth that for these basic services, as you contact me or don't, we don't really care. And then that middle range, how you do that. But like I said earlier, you want to be very clear about your value proposition and how you differentiate that value proposition in the second tier versus the first tier. And it looks like you're doing it pretty well here. I haven't read all the way through it, but you got the concept of it. But why is the custom from 1,000, but the gold is 5,000? It's like you're going in reverse.
My thoughts were that the custom could be between basic and gold. That's why I'm getting
Oh,
input.
oh, wow. Okay. Well,
Well,
yeah, I haven't.
then I'm just as like a pretend client. I read that. I'm like, well, I'm gonna get the one with the unlimited pages then for only $1,000 instead
It
of.
says from starting.
Well,
It's
again,
not.
it's
I know. I'm just saying that's just like you're gonna get some client that's gonna get confused by that. So I'm just throwing that out there.
Okay. Well, we could always, I figured it at a certain price per page. Yeah. Yeah.
Usually custom is they say enterprise level, or they say, something that this is 24-hour maintenance. This is managed WordPress. This is sometimes it has hosting. They do, they're really getting in there. We're gonna be your go-to guy for all of your web stuff. That's usually what the enterprise level or the custom level, or this is a little bit different.
Just more pages.
I would also say this from personal experience. You do not want to be offering custom to $1,000 customer. $1,000 customers are 1,000 and below customers are problematic. You know, I would put from on all of these because you always want to have the ability to add a la carte items. More pages. There might be some special multimedia features that are needed, some interactivity, something that is above and beyond a static basic page. And then there's also, well, are you guys creating content for that
Yes. That's
750?
why no, one page content 5,000. That's a 5-page. Like custom is typically going to be more pages because of 5,000. Like we assume we're writing content, everything, wherever it's going to write it, because otherwise you end up with poor content a lot of the time. So
Now,
it's
it is a little confusing because it says one page custom design and then it lists 4 pages. That's why my basic one, I call it 5 pages. That way I can include those and a home page and possibly a newsletter sign up, possibly, because we always want to be able to capture ads or
well,
ads. We want to capture email. Go ahead.
for sake of time, and I know this meeting's actually scheduled 7:30 because yeah, because Dan brought this up, so I had to make sure we got these points in. We could email out just specifically, and then when there's some time, if anyone here wants to give some individual feedback, and we could tier it differently. This is a first run to just put together some pricing as a whole, just cleaning up documentation, if that works
Yeah,
for everyone.
I'll look at it. My guess is your custom stuff is going to be your paid advertising type stuff that that's us worth a premium anyway. That's kind of your core. Uh,
We
but
have more, Mike. We've actually got a bunch of different packages and a more all-in-one package. It's sort of
okay.
yeah, it would probably take about 50
Yeah.
minutes. We spend a lot of time on this whole thing, and this is a small snippet. So what's your email, by the way?
Um,
In the
info at advanced digitalcollective.com. And I'll put it in the chat in just a minute here.
All right, yeah, we'll reach out to you and then
Yeah, I'll
we can
look at it.
continue it from there.
I look at it. I do a lot on the business and the proposal type and the scope of services stuff more than just the WordPress stuff. But I think you're going a little backwards where you're taking someone else mentioned it. Maybe 2 people mentioned it. You're degrading your value added service when you go from 5,000 to 1,000, which should be your premium services in my first look at it. Now I get you got looking at it a little differently. And you're saying I get that, but it seems like if they're going to want custom stuff, that means they're probably looking to pay more anyway.
Well, we could hire them from 8 grand or something.
Yeah. You can
Just change the
market it up.
price. That's
You-
all you do. And if they want custom, you can always knock it down later or something in between, but at least it looks higher and more custom.
Yeah, well, you could put them in the switch them, maybe the custom name. I'm not going to say, but you want them to think if they think they're getting premium services, that means they probably should be expected to pay for premium services. And
I have a solution to it, all this.
go
I'm
ahead.
just going to move everything up, and at the very bottom, I'm going to put another little note like I've done on other sites. If these don't fit your need, we can create a custom solution for you. You're on mute, Mike.
No, no, I would actually recommend that. You might have your 750, 2,500 to 5,000, then maybe have a 10,000 and say, hey, if none of these meet your needs, contact us for custom pricing. So,
Oh,
do it
okay.
that way. I would recommend that. Now they have 4 options.
Perfect. I like that way of dealing.
What I typically, if this is up to you, I would say for a free consultation, for a free estimate, and you might say an hour or 30 minutes or whatever, and that free, because I've helped a lot of contracting companies and a lot of like when we did Yellow Page ads, but even now on websites, free estimates or free proposal can really, because what they got to lose, right? Now you get the chance to talk to them. Now you get to entertain. Now you get to build trust. Now you get to build a relationship.
Love it. I like getting second inputs on third input just to kind of just really nail it down.
Yeah, the end goal of this is if you get clients with a website that doesn't convert, because a lot of people need a website. And you get asked about websites, so we don't want to turn them away because you're losing leads then, and the opportunity to have someone else build it and help the person. So yeah, this really helps. Yeah, appreciate this.
Well, I've been using this Sandbox Advanced Digital Collective for this type of stuff. It's kind of a new email over the last year or two, but it goes into my main box. I'll look it over, man. Right? As far as the actual web scoping services, there's 2 or 3 in this group that are far advanced to me. But I'm looking at as if I'm a customer and I'm asking to hire you. That's how I try to look at it. But also send me your stuff. I'll take a look, let you know what I think.
Yeah,
Sounds good.
you can send that over to Evan?
Yeah, I can send that over.
Yeah,
Yeah.
CC me.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm in these meetups, several people in this group, or at least Steve for sure. We're in these meetups 5, 6 a week, sometimes more, sometimes less. But yeah, there's tons of meetups.
Because we don't want to build the sites out. When we get the leads and we say you need a website, we want to contact someone else and they build it for us.
Yeah, that's exactly what I do. Well, I mean, I do build websites for people, but I've also sent them to like Steve here. So I've sent him 3 or 4 clients. A couple of them I think have worked out, depending on their needs. But now, if you have somebody that wants a brochure site and it's a static website, no e-commerce, no marketing, none of that. You're just, hey, SNS Lancer scanscaping, and you want to geofence it. Well, yeah, you can do that for really cheap, and you don't really, and there's 1,000, well, there's 10,000 people that will build that website for nothing, right? Probably shouldn't do it. You probably should hire someone because, if you're going to scale your business, you're going to grow, you're going to need more offering. And since all revolves around your WordPress, your website, right? Like, especially if you want to do digital marketing or sexually. Yeah. So, but on the basic stuff, I get that, I'm the same way. If it's a high end, somebody's doing 1,000 transactions a day or something, and they happen to come across one of my meetups, then I'm sending them to Steve, or I'm sending them to Eric in Dallas or Eagle in San Jose, because they're just so much more advanced than me. But the majority of the people who come across my radar, they're not doing 1,000 transactions a day. They're starting a company and they want to sell soap, or they want to sell, and they just need to have to be credible. They have to have a website and an email address. And then you got to teach them, like, well, you want to make it sure it's your own domain. You want to make sure all the little basic stuff. They need so much hand holding, they're hardly worth it for 750. Right.
Yeah, there's actually, I'm not, so how I view it is WordPress is the only thing you use. There's a lot of people I think do really well on Shopify.
Yeah, Shopify or Etsy or
Something like that.
I put people in both of those. Yeah.
Yeah, it
Well,
all depends.
I will always remind, 80% of what we're talking about here is psychology. And part of the psychological equation is that you will, I promise you, in the lower tiers, you will deal with people who don't value what we're talking about. So you're opening yourself up to having to argue and teach people who don't see the value in web design, who don't, who either out of ignorance or having been burned by the stove in the past. I certainly, we've talked about that.
But I can take the gentleman.
Have been burned, you know, and they don't believe that lead ads are
Yeah,
worthy.
but I can take the gentleman's point from just before you there, Ed. He's basically, if you come across a potential client and they don't want to learn WordPress and they don't want to pay somebody to manage their, sometimes it's just better just put them in Shopify or Etsy, or put them with you know, and because they take care of most of it for them. But if they're not going to learn how to manage the website and they're not going to pay somebody to do it, well then just put them in Shopify. Let them deal with Shopify. They'll pay more. They won't be able to do less. They'll probably migrate in a few years, but you know, they're not, you know, you're not going to work for free, are you?
Well, no,
So,
I mean, and for myself, I don't work with lesser. You know, if somebody wants
yeah,
to go put money in somebody else's pocket, and because a big part of my business is a big part of it. An integral part of my business is the fact that WordPress is a superior CMS, not just by a little. I mean, the last time I checked the market share, WordPress had 62% of the CMS market share. Shopify had 5%. Um,
Yeah, Edward, I know
I mean,
several
well, let me finish my thought. Wix and Squarespace were either three or one was three, the other was four, or one was four and the other one was three. And you know, I'm not going to go, because to be honest with you, I have expertise with WordPress because I stay up with that. But unless you're doing Squarespace all the time, I don't see the benefit in going and presenting oneself as a web developer and then using a an amateur CMS like well, I mean, Shopify is a little unique, but Squarespace or Wix
I
definitely.
draw the line there. Yeah, I say Shopify. I know quite a few companies that do very well running e-commerce through them on Shopify, and they spend and they're not so. Our package is basically it's built around WordPress as sort of the core of it, but it doesn't have to be. And since we're not in the business of just WordPress, or it's more of a you need a website. Here's some base packages. If you need custom, we'll get you custom. Sort of here's some price points. And we wanted to scale the rest of your business, your other digital aspects of the digital in the digital landscape. Your website needs to be good, and it's probably going to be WordPress for most of the clients or Shopify. Usually, that seems to be the two main camps, depending on where they are and what they're looking for as a rule.
WordPress.com a little bit, but I use Shopify to offload a less than desirable potential client. All right, go to Shopify, live in their world, and you know, if you're not going to pay and you're not going to learn it, you might as well. That's just basically to get rid of them.
But
I
I
don't
Oh
mean,
yeah,
think.
but
are you helping them do any of the work
Well,
on
yeah, a little
Shopify?
bit, a little bit. If they come to the meetups, yeah, that's what we do. We do it for free. But this is not a long-term client. This is someone who isn't. It's not going to be a good client for me, right?
You're just being
Yeah, I'm just
a
helping them to a
party.
platform. They're going to pay a premium.
Yeah.
yeah,
Shopify will keep them
so
from screwing up the website. They're not going to be able to use the SEO. There's a lot of stuff they can't do. They're going to be limited, but they don't want to do the work. They don't want to pay for the help. Here's a solution for them,
Yeah.
and you know, and they can, you know, they probably
Well,
do.
I
They can
do.
do
You
okay,
know,
right? I mean,
some of us will remember Mr. Goodwrench. You know, pay me now, or you'll definitely pay you later. And you know, my philosophy on you know, there are people who can't afford what I have to do,
yeah.
and I've been doing it for 26 years, so I'm not inclined after many years of slogging away and doing far too cheap websites, Because when I went from HTML websites to WordPress in 2009, I immediately, and back then I was charging like 85 an hour, and it should have been more than that, but I immediately lowered my hourly because quite basically I don't feel good offering expertise in a platform that I'm not really confident in. And that would definitely apply to Wix or Squarespace now. I'm not going to spend time staying up with how, if Wix makes a major change to how they configure themselves or Squarespace does, I'm not going to be there to make sure that I have a plan B for people who don't have money. I mean,
Yeah,
Edward.
I recommend those less too. But one thing I'm trying to explain, people are starting out in this business or any business, most of the customers are not good customers. And
no,
being able to turn away customers that are going to be a drag, they're going to consume your time, you're not going to make any money off them. You just got to learn to say, hey, some are good, some are not. And if you put
well,
somebody,
the thing is, not everybody should be in business, to be honest with you. I mean, that sounds a little harsh, but I
well,
mean,
you know,
and a lot of people, I mean, if they don't consider their digital marketing as key to their plans for business, maybe they should keep working for somebody else until they're able to either put together the money to make sure their digital marketing is made account for, that they have the budget for it, either their funds or a loan or a
I think, oh, sorry,
venture.
didn't Alan or someone have a question earlier about their WooCommerce? Did we answer that? I think it was
Well,
Alan.
before we get there, and since we're doing this the packages thing, I wanted to run because as a result of conversations with Davin and Daryl, I went ahead and went back to putting together packages, which is something that I was loath to do for a while. Having said that, I've now done it, and I thought I'd run it past you guys. This is where it is right now. It's this was definitely fire aim. This needs honing and tweaking. But a big part of it was the articulation, obviously, because you have to articulate your overall marketing message. And then I put together 3 packages. This is the main one. Also, I'm calling the middle, although I did just as a little parenthetical, I went to ChatGPT and I said, okay, so I'm thinking of going bronze, silver, bronze, silver, gold, platinum for these 4 packages I'm thinking of doing. I went to ChatGPT and I said, well, what would be some alternate ways of labeling these? So I've got a bunch of them kind of on deck that might take the place of silver, gold, platinum, and e-commerce. But for now, that's where it is. But I did what I described earlier. I took my brass ring marketing system, which is where my web development has evolved to, which is basically a strong WordPress hub plus setting them up on Constant Contact, email marketing, which includes, by the way, 5 automation steps. So they don't just have an acknowledgement of their email sign up, and obviously, there's lead magnets that need to be, people aren't just going to give you their email without giving them a reason. You have to give them something. On my website, I give away a lead magnet, 100 ideas for lead magnets, also my 17 fixes, which somebody can literally self-diagnose and fix their website, and then I also have my newsletter. But this is what my basic thing is. This is my basic work that I do. Making sure that their LinkedIn is set up. They have a branded profile and a business page, that they've got 2 additional branded social channels, which usually is going to be Facebook and Twitter, or Meta and Twitter. I still haven't really embraced the Meta thing, but I haven't embraced X either. And then I include training and coaching, so make sure not that they know how to use WordPress, because I can point them to so many great tutorial information online. When I started doing WordPress, you had to teach people WordPress 101 because there was no tutorial information available. You know, there might be some guys with heavy Indian accents doing some basic WordPress 101, but that's, you know, that was 15 years ago. Now there's all kinds of great, if you want to cover the basics, including on WordPress.org, there's great information on how to do the basics of WordPress. And of course, as a coach, I can supplant that. But you know, my training is making sure that they know exactly what to do. Okay, do they know how to, you know, I'm setting up 5 automation points. I didn't put that on here, but you know, I've set up a template for them for constant contact. You know, do they now know how to send out an email? Do they know how to send out a newsletter using that basic template? Do they know how to create or add an automation step? So instead of just 5 automation steps, you know, like a welcome to, and then some product information, maybe some information that introduces the team, that sort of thing, you know, so you're getting some credibility, maybe another one with case studies, whatever it is, 5 steps. And I can make that pretty robust, and that'll, you know, whoever signs up, they can be thrown onto that list or lists to make sure that. So it's pretty robust. And then, you know, since I am working with these gentlemen up in the Great White, you know, we've got the one which is, and by the way, I haven't been doing stripped basic websites because it actually hurts my soul to see somebody just have a website without spokes. You know, to have a website without traffic is you're hiding your bushel, you're light under a bushel basket. So, but I do, for people who maybe have dealt with somebody who's more spoke oriented, you know, somebody who's a social channel expert, and the heart of their social or their digital marketing is Instagram. There are many people for whom that is, or maybe they've got somebody like Daryl or Davin to do ads, but they do need a website. So I do now have a plain website package that I will do. There's no, I mean, I do my advanced discovery and marketing analysis, which is, in my opinion, huge. I mean, it's actually changed the course of many a startup, you know. But you know, there's no training, no coaching, no spokes set up. They got 5 pages, so we're talking about homepage, about page, contact page, services page, maybe you know, set up some of the blog, because I want my clients to be putting articles. There's got to be a reason to come back to the website. You don't go back to a website and say, "Oh, let me see if he's got new packages up." No, there's got to be information that's you know, relevant to my interests. You know. Anyway, any thoughts or observations on these tiers, Mike?
No, that's pretty standard where you escalate. Your e-commerce package might be you know, depending on what they're going to want, because you could be in way more than the 2450, depending on who shows up. But yeah,
Well, it's basically installing WooCommerce, setting up a product template, which for me is pretty easy. 10, I'll preload 10, you know, so if it's somebody who's got, you know, they've been in business, they have a hat, a t-shirt, they've been sold some novelty products, and they want to be able to, you know, they got them in the back room, and
Okay,
they
so
want to sell them. You know.
right, but so okay, that setting up taxes and setting up shipping and handling, if they're work around the world, multiple, that can be a real challenge there. And usually with WooCommerce, it's tax and shipping are the biggest challenges. I mean, there's some other stuff that can come in there, but that can be a pretty sizable, but if you're loading in TaxJar or somebody like that, or Elvera, or, and you've got that figured into the price, yeah, you'd probably be done for that.
Yeah, it just like we were discussing, it should be starting at.
Yeah,
Um,
I'd give you a little room to move that up a little bit, but all in all, it's an add to the other package. So
right.
yeah, you're probably have enough there, but some of those WooCommerce sites, they can be even. I mean, it's good that you limit it to 10 products because somebody comes in and you got
Yeah.
1,000 or 5,000. You don't want to be loading that
No,
up.
no, no, no. At that point in time, we're gonna have as part of their final price, because I actually don't have checkout on this as yet. You can check out for the brass ring marketing system and save $700 right now. But again, my own, I'm not using WooCommerce for checkout. I'm using basic PayPal on the free level. So,
But
you can check out.
you mean processing because WooCommerce has checkout pages on their free, and then they have enhanced. You can pay more, but you're really when you're talking about PayPal now, you're really talking about the payment gateways.
Yeah, well, back to what I said before, it was fire aim. I needed some packages to show the boys from Vancouver, um, or where's Davin from again? Alberta? Uh,
I was from Vancouver, Lower Mainland, but due to housing pricing, I moved to the Great Prairies.
well, being from California, we understand moving due to housing prices. We're here in San Diego, our median house price sits at $1 million. My parents bought their house in 1972 for 68,000 in La Jolla, which is one of the most affluent communities in California. Anyway, but I digress. Anyway, so the thing is that I've gone ahead and added this. Let's go to the page.
So Steve gave you something in the chat. I mean, I think it's his three. Are you talking about the 3 tiers, or you're talking about the 3 tiers for the
It's not from Ed's. It's from the other guys. And I
for
just,
the Oldbergs?
yeah, and I just put it's just a link to a PDF that I put together real quick. I just was screwing around and came up with 3 tiers and included what they had with some other ideas. So just
Okay.
some suggestions.
So
Awesome.
Davin, I think Daryl's gone, but Davin can share it with Daryl.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll definitely take it down. More input is always nice. And for us, it's not about, we just need a great landing page when we're doing our ads and everything. And we don't want to build a website. I'd rather call up Edward or talk to Mike or just talk to Steve, someone else, and they say, here's the website, go make us a great website. And then we can take care of our clients also.
Yep.
Yeah. Hey, I want to get to Alan. Sorry, Alan, you've been waiting so patiently. Let's get back to your issues and
So
see.
let me bring Steve up to speed. He bought a company, has a website. He's using authorized.net, and he has a question about the manual. I don't know about manually approving credit cards, but then he said that he's copying and pasting credit card numbers to do that. Kind of a no-no in my book, probably yours too, Steve.
Yeah, it shouldn't be copy and pasting. It should be automatically handling it.
All right, so you're probably more familiar with authorized.net.
I've used it before.
All right, there we go. Now you got the lay of the land, and
It
if
doesn't
Alan
mean
wants
I'm going to know anything, but I mean I've used
I get it,
before.
I get it, but I
Well,
want to get you up to
it's
speed quick.
and the main reason for it, as I understand it, Alan, is because of inventory and not
Yes.
wanting to consummate a transaction without being able to verify that stock is available. Obviously, ideally, and I think this would be what would make sense. If you have 10 whatevers, you put 4 of them on the website. That way there's always more in stock than
No,
is
it's
available on Woo on.
easier said than done when it comes to plants. So we have, multiple greenhouses,
Mm.
and you get an order, and we have the plants, they're going to grow. But if something doesn't look right, we don't want to ship it. We are going to ship short, and then I don't want to run a refund.
So at
Um,
what point in time do you like
I
do you
charge when
want
I
to like
ship.
list it? Well, I mean, look, one of the things that I'm always advising my clients is take a page from the winners in your industry. So I would encourage you to find out what are the leading what do you call it? Publications, leading websites, leading podcasts, leading influencers in your realm. Because, and I know nothing about plants. You want a plant killed? What has two thumbs and kills plants? This guy. So, but I would incline if we're talking about you don't want to list something until it's at a point in development where you're confident that it's going to be viable. Then what are we talking about? You have something with
Can I
a
ask?
12
Can I
week.
ask?
Go ahead.
Can I ask a quick question here, Alan?
Yeah.
What e-commerce platform are you using, or
He's
are
using
you using
WooCommerce.
I'm
WooCommerce or something
using
like that?
WooCommerce.
Okay, well, WooCommerce has inventory management built in. You can set inventory levels,
Yes, I do.
That's what I
But
said
right?
earlier.
And it
You
will
can do
process
that.
the.
yes, I do.
He's
But
got he's got
unlike
a concern. He's
nuts
got a
and
concern
bolts,
about listing
when we
things.
propagate.
Yeah, so that's what
There's
I was
something
saying.
going on with
Are,
the
are
audio.
at what point in the growth process are you able to ascertain
I,
if something is viable for sale?
You're having connection issues, Edward.
yeah, so we're
Yeah.
not. There's a real audio feedback problem going on here.
Let me see if I can maybe if
While
I
he's
take
figuring
out
that
some
out,
video.
why don't you just keep going?
So what I'm just trying to change without all the facts that you're saying are true. I don't want to be copying and pasting. I want to just be able to go to my order page for that, the customer put in an order, and then execute the credit card transaction at time of shipment, which could be 4 to 8 weeks later from the time of order.
Oh, wow.
And so I found a plugin that does manual transaction, the order page, but I don't know much about this person. When I go onto his site on the WordPress site that shows all the plugins, there are some good reviews, but there's not a whole lot of reviews. And so I'm not quick to say install, as you can understand.
Can I get a sound check, by the way? How am I coming across?
No,
You're
it's pretty bad.
Bad?
yeah.
So, Alan, so I was ordering something off Home Depot, and the way they do it is very simple. They have a third-party software that you put an order in, they put their credit card information, everything in, then they have a staff member verify if they have something in stock, then they authorize the deal to go through. And that's when then you collect the money. But you never have to touch money, credit card information, nothing.
Yeah, it's like accepting or allowing processing of it, but you shouldn't have to manually touch
Yeah,
that credit card
so
number. That's a big problem for your privacy and your.
yeah, so on WooCommerce, the financial part, maybe there is a setting, a way to change it that I just authorize but not capture at time of entry. And
Pending.
then when it's good, I can push the capture.
The answer is pending payments.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then you accept it. But that's in WordPress or WooCommerce Core, is it?
Well, you just set it so that when you process it, it's pending payment, not not right now,
You're
not
not
immediate.
Yet to
And
be processed.
that makes a lot of sense because at that time I can edit the order. So if I see that my 10 items that the person is buying, that one of them is not there, I can go and remove that one and then complete the order.
And it mean, yeah, it's under order status.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's how you pending payment.
Okay. I'll do some research on that. That's helpful.
So, Alan, I saw you signed up for Woo Wednesday. If you want to, if you show up at Woo Wednesday, you can share your screen, and then Steve and there's two or three other people that are really good with WooCommerce. I'll look at that and tell you right on the spot. What you're trying to do happens routinely. It shouldn't be a problem. I just don't understand the authorized.net having to paste a credit card in to facilitate what you're talking
Oh,
about.
because I have not linked authorized.net yet through the website. So
Oh,
I'm doing it through authorized.net's virtual terminal. I need to take that next step and connect it all together.
yeah, that's not good.
Yeah, or you just use some other type of payment gateway if you want. I mean, you can use Stripe or
Square,
any of them.
Yeah, all of them can work. That's not a problem. It's
or you use
just
a multi. There's
and
lots.
as you can tell, I'm the newbie.
That's
So
okay.
we kept the website going. We have sales, which is all good. I had 3 other very simple, I know they're going to be rapid fire WordPress questions. And Ed, if I can ask them, I would like to.
Yeah, we'll do them one at a
Well,
time.
can I pop in and see if my connection's any better?
Your microphone's much better.
Okay.
Yeah, we understand,
I tweaked and untweaked and connected and disconnected and tested and blah, blah, blah.
It worked.
I did have a question because a lot of times, we get very nuts and bolts about the technical aspect about this. And I'm always thinking in terms of marketing and business. So I had a question that I put in the chat, which is because this all hinges on the fact that you are hesitant in listing your products until they are viable and ready to be stockable. So the question that I put in the chat, and I apologize if I missed it, if you guys answered this, but what and when is your product determined to be viable / stockable?
Okay.
Is it a certain growth point?
Yeah, so because we have, and on the web page, we have 760 products. And there's only 3 of us in the United States who are selling these plants. So we did an audit, where we went to every pallet in the multiple greenhouses, and I labeled each one with a letter and a number. And then I went back to the product's website and I changed the status to in stock or out of stock, or if we're not even going to sell them anymore, draft. So no one could see it. And so when we see that the plants aren't, we got to propagate more, I'll change it to out of stock. There's 2, which are the biggest sellers, which is leading up to another question, that we changed to back order because we're doing everything we can to ensure those grow all the time. That's our bread and butter. But so that's what we do, in stock or out of stock, by actually touching them. And I'm trying to get it into my son's head. He's newer at this, that we have to do cycle audits where you just grab 5% of the, touch a couple of pallets and verify, so that the website always reflects what's actually in inventory.
Now, I have no doubt that there are multiple location, warehouses that are using WooCommerce. It's a matter of, and I certainly don't have experience with this because I typically work with a single point of business, and usually it's far fewer than 760. Certainly if you're spreading it over 3 locations. I don't have experience with that. However, I have a great deal of confidence that WooCommerce is capable of it it does have the capability of adding team members and having multiple users involved in the process. Now, I don't know if that would require you guys having a shared Excel spreadsheet on Google Docs or something like that, where
Yep, already do that.
each of you have your stock, and then your store manager or whomever
Oh
would
no,
take.
this is a sole proprietor. These are three greenhouses that are next to each other, and the plants are very small, and it's pretty much one person doing all the growing, and I do all the back end and
Right, but
copy and
you're
website.
feeding, each one of you is feeding your individual stock status into that spreadsheet, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So I mean, and this, I'm sure there's a way of automating this, and
Yep.
Mike might be able to tell us, but I mean, it would seem that if you were each one of you keeping your column stock current, then whomever is designated to be the store manager, your son or whoever, who will then take the aggregate stock and make, okay, we've got 12 here, we got 6 here, we got 18 there. That's a total of what, 36? So we're going to put 12 on the website.
Yep.
That way it gives us a buffer. I mean, that might be one way to go.
Yeah. So you brought up a subject that was my next question is on WordPress, the products tab. Is there a plugin to add stock location? I
On
have
the
yet to
on
find one.
WooCommerce, because remember, WordPress is I mean, that's your basic software. WooCommerce is a plugin which adds store capabilities to it. And WooCommerce has certain capabilities that it comes with out of the box. There's a number of
Well, let me
add-ons.
share screen because that way you
Yeah,
can say,
you can do that anytime you want.
um,
There's a number of products that Woo itself, and by the way, one I never mentioned it before, but for Mike, I don't know if you knew this, but WooCommerce is changing their logo in 2025. That was one of the pieces of news.
so
But
you can see here is what I was talking about. I thought this tab called products is a WordPress feature.
well, it is. Remember, WooCommerce by out of the box, WordPress has two constructs. They're called pages and they're called posts. And
Okay.
there's a number of plugins that are available which can expand that: portfolio items, products pages, sales pages, for
Analytics
building land.
page.
There's that analytics is within WooCommerce. This is
Oh,
all
really?
nested under WooCommerce.
Oh,
Now, either
it's not when
either
I open it up, but that's enlightening.
yeah, you may not always get the maximum design capabilities or conveniences, whatever, but you have WooCommerce, which has its abilities and capabilities inherently, and then Woo itself, the company Woo, has products that they'll make available either for free as add-ons or for a premium price. And then there's the entire Woo development, which is kind of a I don't know if we'd call it a sub world of WordPress, because I guess can you put Woo on some other platform other than I mean, it's got to be available for.
No, I think it's pretty much dedicated to WordPress. I mean, you may be able to do that, but I
I
want to
mean,
go
like
back.
Drupal or Joomla or any
They
of that.
say for WordPress. I'm not saying they won't do it, but I don't think Alan's you're on WordPress, right, Alan? You got a WordPress
Yes,
Steve,
site.
I am on
Steve
WordPress.
just Steve just put in a link that says this plugin will let you add stock locations.
That's where I was going. There's several options to it, but getting on the analytics, there's WooCommerce analytics, WordPress analytics, but most people integrate with like Google for
Google
advanced
Analytics.
analytics, right?
So this one, because there's no word in this whole site called Google. So this must be Woo Analytics.
Probably Woo might be Word, but probably But let's go back and I want to understand your inventory question. Now, earlier you said something about it could be 4 to 6 weeks to fill an order.
Yep.
Then you said there's like 3 locations or only 3 people can sell it.
No, there's only one physical location we sell from.
And
All I
then,
said was we have multiple greenhouses, and I shouldn't have used the word three.
okay, but so there's three of you that sell this same product.
No. Oh, you mean out in the world? There is a company in Hawaii. There's us in San Diego, another company in Connecticut. We're
And are you
competitors.
yeah, and I'm asking this, are you trying to balance the inventory amongst you have sole source, 3 people selling it, and is that your problem about you don't want to process it? You know, I'm not really understanding why. First, you got a long fill time, 4 to 6 weeks.
Well, you have three greenhouses under different ownership that are working together.
Yeah,
And
we're not working together. All I just said is that that was background information. These are competitors.
Okay, so do you have
Oh,
a supply bottleneck? Is what I'm trying to figure out.
No, we are the grower. So if we are short,
Okay.
it's our problem.
Okay. Oh, so are you only selling? Are you only selling to the other?
No, we sell to web customers. So, I get the orders and I can see that they come through a Google search or a internet search or direct. And, we get orders every day.
We're talking about fulfillment, not acquisition.
Okay, yeah,
but
let me ask.
Well, let me get back to the stock situation, because your stock and
Can I jump in a second?
its availability is what is keeping you from using WooCommerce.
Can you check the chat? I went to ChatGPT and it gave a few options that will do what he's asking, essentially be pending payments and everything.
Okay.
Yeah, well, it's not about the tools at this point in time. We're trying to determine, because both Mike and I were thinking that you were talking about you had 3 greenhouses in different locations that are selling on the same website. You're telling us now that 2
I'm
of those
sorry
other
for that confusion.
we don't care about your competition. We're talking about the nuts and bolts of you selling your product. So back to you. You have control of your stock, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so at what point, what is it that's keeping you from determining that your stock is ready to list on your website?
Oh, if it is on the website, we have touched it at one time and we say it is good to go. But say I only have 4 plants there and that number changes all the time. Not all the time. It can change. I get an order for 10. I cannot ship 10. I can only ship 4. So now I have to edit the order. And the suggestion made earlier about leaving the order in pending, because then I can edit it and close it, complete the sale at that point, was the best suggestion.
Well, you know that WooCommerce will manage your shipping and handling, which means if you're doing that, it's going to
We do a flat
automatically.
rate, so it's calculated
No, I'm
by.
not talking about the rate, but
It'll manage.
if you're shipping one, begonia, then and you had 4 on there, if you're using the shipping and handling feature of WooCommerce, it will reduce your stock by 1.
Yes.
You can set the limit in WooCommerce. If you only have 4 and somebody places a 10 order, it won't go through because you don't have enough. So let me ask you real quick, are you selling wholesale, retail, or both?
Retail.
So it's a retail stuff. Okay. Yeah, I don't understand why you're having a problem, because WooCommerce Core will set your inventory, and there's advanced plugins that will help you manage with inventory. And if you're only sourcing your own inventory from yourself, so when the customers comes, you either have it or you don't. So whatever the plan is, you say 10 available, you say 20 available, and it'll click it right down. And if somebody wants to put 10 when you only have 3 left, it won't process the order.
Yeah.
You can go in and say, hey, do you want the 3 if you can't get the 10? But I don't know about taking a 10 order, cutting it down to 3 and just shipping the 3.
Well, that's why I was saying what I would do if it was me is I would take whatever I know I have in stock, and this requires some management. I mean, especially with 760 products, there's only so much, especially when there's a physical product that needs to be confirmed and shipped and everything. I would not probably list my entire stock. I mean, an employee takes one home, or you lose one out of your greenhouse, whatever it is, it would probably make the most sense to come up with a buffer. Say you got
That's a good
15 in
idea.
stock, list 10. If you see that you're getting stock, and you can get notifications from Woo that'll let you know, hey, you're getting low on stock or you're out of this. You can then add more. You can, you can physically go check that, yes, we still actually have 5 left. You can put 3 more in stock, or whatever. I mean, this is kind of basic storekeeping.
Yeah.
And this is the thing. Remember, make sure that your house is in order in terms of your brick and mortar thinking and your shipping and all that, and then use WooCommerce to expand on that. But you're really shortcutting yourself and making yourself crazy unnecessarily if you're doing a lot of manual stuff. It sounds like you need to get from where you are to being fully set up. Go to Wednesday this week, man, and you'll see some black belts in there that you can then have one-on-ones with. I would say, I mean, I'm always willing to have conversations with people, but I don't have the kind of expertise that some of those folks have there. I would consider
Okay.
myself
So you guys have
somewhere
answered
between.
already a lot of questions that I've been
Yeah,
living with and doing good, but not good enough.
You'll get there. Did you have a third question?
No,
yeah, I
you
was going to
answered.
say we are 12 minutes over time on our meeting. Do you want to type your questions into the chat? And then now I always, because I don't want to have a hugely long recording for this, and we try to keep it manageable. But why don't you go ahead and type your second and third questions into the chat? Everybody can save the chat. Everybody who hasn't done so can insert their contact information so that you can get hold of them outside of our meeting. But I want to be mindful that we're not keeping people too late. And again, I always try to keep the room open. I call it the parking lot. People hang out. We're not being recorded. That's when Mike and I can have political conversations and bemoan the state of the world. Although I have a feeling we're probably not going to be bemoaning as much. But anyway, why don't you put your questions in there? Yeah, Steve has put the link in there for Woo Wednesday. I will, where is it?
So while he's doing that, Ellen, whatever you're trying to do, there's usually 5, 10, 20 ways to do it. With WooCommerce, there's usually 4 or 5 advanced, very, very advanced WooCommerce experts, and they'll give you probably the recommended practices. So they're the better source to go to. Brendan's pretty good. Steve's pretty good. And they've both come to that meetup too. But if you really want to get your best practices solution for what you're trying to do, I recommend coming to WooCommerce and ask the experts. Now, we could probably get you there because at the end of the day, your problem isn't that difficult. We're just not quite getting the nuances of what you're trying to do and why it's a problem for you. At least for me. Most of everything you're asking is pretty routine and can be done.
Yeah, and again, that's kind of where I come in, because most of my clients they don't have as robust a stock as you do, but a lot of them are where you are in terms of business evolution, and there is some of that needs to happen. The nuts and bolts are always available, and you will find some black belt nuts and bolters at Woo Wednesday, and I would definitely encourage you to go to it. But you just need to get to where your actual business a little tighter in terms of how you're doing stock. And when you've got that, when you know how you're going to be handling stock and making decisions on what's available for. By the way, do you have a brick and mortar place where people can? Oh, you said no. You're online only, right?
Correct. Online only.
Okay. Okay. So you don't have to think I'm going to put so many in the store or anything. Okay. So yeah, you've got some business decisions to make that will then need to be reflected in how you're setting up your WooCommerce. It's a tremendously robust plugin which offers you a lot of capabilities. So put on your calendar noon Pacific Standard Time, be at Woo Wednesday, start showing up, and that'll raise your game. And I'll go ahead and put my contact information on there because I think you need some maybe getting your game raised a little bit in terms of well, your digital marketing and where WordPress fits into it. There's my stuff. I will go ahead and get us where are we at?
Hey, Alan, real quick, what's a B theme, and what's the actual name of your theme?
What is the B theme?
I'm assuming that B theme is a vendor of themes, and what's the name of the
Yes.
theme?
So that's what the website was built with, was a store-bought theme years before, and they bought the one from the
Oh,
company B theme.
Brendan got it. Okay, cool. Thanks, Brendan.
But I don't know which one.
It's Theme Forest.
Yeah, it's a multi-purpose
Got it.
WooCommerce
Yeah,
theme
yeah.
from
So
Forest.
it's out of date, but it's saying to re-upload it. Okay, so there's probably an update. If you go to Theme Forest, you
Oh
can
no,
probably.
I've gone through the updates. There's different. Someone who's a WordPress person would say, "Okay, give me 8 hours and the hundreds of dollars, and I'll take care of it."
Hey, watching YouTube. Yeah. We playing music.
So yeah, sorry about that. Hang on, let me
So you should be able to go to the Envato Market and get the newest update, Alan.
and that's more basic WordPress use. So let me go ahead and close out the meeting and thank everybody. We're not going to leave you hanging. I invite you, Alan, to hang out for the after meeting. Whoever wants to hang out, we'll hang out and we can take your issue a little further. But these are some pretty basic WordPress issues. So I want to thank everybody for being here and contributing. Brandon, Steve, Mike, of course. Davin, I'm glad you're here, and I hope you come back next time. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and end our recording. Invite you guys to share the replay. It'll be available on my WordPress Guy YouTube channel. Usually I try to get it up within a few days of this meeting, so hopefully it'll be up by Saturday, something like that. And again, thanks for being here. Always good to have you guys in the house.